this coordination manager. Utah very here. Either Utah is going to get a second rounder back, but they may not have had anything to get back for rotation. Maybe that's the last thing what New Jersey was offered after the draft. And if they do that, then it's another 53 of them. It'll be all right. So we'll see what happens. Utah fans coming out of the stick around, you want to see them act or no. And as something you watch the table, they totally understand that it's possible at that price. We'll New Jersey happens. So we'll see what happens there. Scott Houghton has some good rumors all day. Captain sends to the LA to decide $3 million in cap hit for one. Absolutely, that's the perfect for launch, I believe. So $6 will be only $27 to expectation. Anyway, Lars Eller is off to Florida. Florida was the first one guys to get contact with the level. Trying to keep those notes off for now. 30 on the fourth line for the North campus this coming season. But the third graduate made the trade today to make both things. They acquired Stephen Olson. Stephen had a fantastic year with Vegas, but here reporting it. So the third graduate is going to launch the contract in 2024-2025 season. They're going to be happy. Going to Vegas in the trade, a 2029 third round draft pick and a 2027 second round. So a couple of draft picks going to Vegas, which we know they'll probably trade anyway. And so the trade to get a little bit tougher than the bottom six to be Olson. Also, the Winnipeg Jets have signed Ryan Ferraro. $8 contract with Ferraro, $4 million per season. I think that's a good deal. Everything I'm preparing for the big NA contract, obviously, is still in my head. That's $4 billion for cap hit. It's perfectly fine. So we'll see what happens. But let me know your thoughts. I think it's one of the most down to the United States. It's the world's greatest person. And bring everything supposed to be answered. Live streams, we're doing more live streams during the live course. So we'll go through, we'll talk about what teams have done, and I think for those that have stayed out of the market, good. I mean that. I think today's market is a little bit high in terms of prices for these players. There are some teams that did not want to have cap space, and now they don't. I don't know why that is, but we'll talk about it. So we'll start with Anaheim. Jansen signed a 2-year deal with the Anaheim Ducks. $5 million cap hit, Ottawa. Milan goes from LA to Anaheim, so they sort of short term for him. 3 years for the last 2 years of $2.25 million. The Bruins have $8.6 million in cap space left. So on the board, I wrote anything that had less than $10 million in cap space remaining, and Boston is one of the six. Buffalo instead of Zellweger, 3 years of $6.1 million cap hit. I didn't like that contract, especially with what else took place today. Carter Terry has signed with Buffalo 1 year, minimum $850,000 to the series, played for Buffalo before. The Sabres have $7.8 million in cap space left going into next season. The Calgary Flames, quiet thus far. The Carolina Hurricanes also quiet thus far too. And I didn't put anybody on the board, but I feel like it's just an like a lot of people will overreact. They don't sign it, didn't put them on the board. Donald Smith signed a 3-year deal, $3 million per season. This is a decent bottom six forward. Byron signed the 6-year extension with Chicago's $12.5 million cap hit for Byron. The pressure is now on for him to show that he could be a top defenseman in the NHL. He had a good year for Buffalo. He wasn't the guy in Buffalo. It's going to be the guy for Chicago. In Paul, so we have also Senators in Vancouver. Instead, decided to sign with Chicago. 1 year, $4.75 million cap hit for Paul. Colorado, Jason Schwartz, 3-year deal with Colorado, $3.25 million cap hit. Colorado was very familiar with Schwartz from the time with St. Louis. Noah Wilson signed a 2-year contract with Colorado, $1.1 million cap space, and $1.1 million in cap hit, and for cap cap hit there. However, I'm kind of surprised Calgary didn't figure out a way to keep him. We wanted to stay in Calgary, was very vocal about it, but now he's in Columbus. Dallas, nothing from Columbus yet. So Werenski and Robertson contract structure and trade structure are going to become for the last year. At this point in time, it does not look like Robertson's team is today. And it sounds like Columbus and Werenski, there's been discussions between the team and the players, and things have been down somewhat there. We'll see if Werenski gets this good enough. On the great side, Robertson signed a 2-year contract, $5 million cap hit for Robertson coming up the 3rd year in Buffalo. Boston is the thing. Tarasov, 1-year contract with $3 million for the cap hit. Bryson, 1-year contract with $850,000 for Jacob Bryson. The Oilers, they added them a new fight in net today. And they also got the 2028 7th-round draft pick from Buffalo going through the stadium in the field in 2028 for the draft pick. The Oilers had $7.42 million in cap space in 2023 in the tournament. The Florida Panthers signed Dudas for 6 years, $1.5 million cap hit. Dudas in 6 years, it's a long time. It's a long time to ride for Dudas. Lucier gets an 8-year extension, $5 million cap hit, so long time for Lucier and his Romanis. Signs a 2-year extension for $925,000. The Florida Panthers now $29.5 million cap space according to Buckpedia. So Florida, unlikely that they get a lot more done, but this shows why they weren't able to bring back the Borowski as well. Just that extra money. Markstrom would have been looking for that to run. That's the side Markstrom. Question I can ask. The LA Kings added Caracalla, 2 years, $3.6 million cap hit. They added Zuccarello, 1 year, $1 million cap hit, and there's bonuses baked into the contract which are supposed to go on to next year's salary cap. Pretty reached balance for bonuses. Troy Terry also signed a 1 year, $1 million contract with the Minnesota State. $6.63 million in cap savings. Minnesota has talented pitchers, very likely to use the number 3 there behind Wallstead and Gustafson. The same leads to more discussion about whether or not they're going to say Wallstead, but the pitchers spent most losses in regard to hospitals. $5.67 million in cap savings for Pittsburgh, for Minnesota, and with Vickers, if you give that to the minors, of course, that $12 million comes off the cap, and so there's $6.67 million in cap savings. The Montreal Canadiens, again, Danny Goff signed 8 years, $9.15 million cap hit. So there's for players like one full season in the NHL, but I think they'll be fine. And I think Montreal's done an excellent job of getting everybody signed early. And you have a better chance of this contract to do very well. The next one, of course, added Fabrisport and getting from Dallas, which I think is maybe an indicator that they'll be able to figure something out with Robertson. Going the other way, 2027 second-round draft pick and a 2028 third-round draft pick. Fantastic move here, I think, by Nashville. I think Moore's going to be a very good forward in this game for a long time. I think he has top 6 potential. Captain Barrett, I'm sure I think he's worth it. Sully Sonic signed a 1-year deal, $850,000, so at least better than the Sully Sonic. Nico Dawes signed a 2-year extension with $1.1 million cap hit for Dawes. Back up this season, $8.63 million cap savings for New Jersey this upcoming season. The New York Islanders signed Matthias Shelley, 1 year, $1.25 million cap hit. They also signed Vanchek to a 1 year, $1 million contract because they do not know that Varlamov is necessarily going to be able to play this upcoming season. Kessel, 1 year at $850,000 for Max Kessel. $4.22 million in cap space for the Islanders for this upcoming season. The Rangers added Marcus Allen from Boston. Going the other way, Nelly Dixon, a 2028 fit for the Boston Bruins. The Boston moves on to Marcus Allen, which they don't get half in mind. $7.86 million in cap space for the New York Rangers. Ottawa, they signed Harrison to a 2-year extension, $2.2 million cap hit. Ottawa currently with $5.3 million in cap space. A lot of cap space for the Ottawa Senators. Philadelphia, Forster, 8-year extension, $7.1 million cap hit for Tyson Forster. Bedard signs a 5-year extension, of course, that gives them next year $5.5 million cap hit for him. Nola Chari, added by the Flyers today, 2 years at a $2.8 million cap hit. Pittsburgh added Nick Robertson from the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for the 2028 4th-round draft pick from Maple Leafs. Also, Pittsburgh had Carlisle 2 years at a $1.5 million cap hit, and they picked up Uzbeko for the Davis. $1 million over a 1-year contract for Andre Uzbeko. San Jose was busy today. Martin signed a 5-year contract with San Jose at $6.75 million for the cap hit. Jacob Serva, the first contractor with the Nyborough Racers, 4 years at an $8.25 million cap hit. I can understand this from San Jose's perspective, though. Conrad said that he's here extension $1.15 million cap hit for Conrad with the San Jose Sharks. So, Armstrong and Deltovich together in Conrad.
Whether you're a contractor, event planner, or business instructor, make sure your business is protected. Insurance is trusted by you.
Kind of odd, isn't it? They got 3 goaltenders. The Seattle Kraken, they extended Sam Skavich 3 years at a $3.9 million cap hit for Sam Skavich. I think that sounds good. I will say Sam Skavich is a pickup for Seattle. I think it's a strong movement. Ross Johnson signed with St. Louis 3 years at $2 million for the cap hit. Tampa signed Mikheyev 4 years, $3.85 million contract cap hit for Mikheyev and VL. 5 years for VL at $2.5 million. Cashed in on what was a very good second half of the season. Tampa with $8.55 million in cap space up. Toronto didn't stay with a lot of cap space, and they decided we don't want it. Roslovic signed a 2-year deal, $4 million cap hit for Roslovic. Bobrovsky is their new, starting goaltender at 3 years and a $7 million cap hit. They have a logjam now. They have Stolarz, they have nobody, these waivers, and they have Akiyama. They have a lot of good goaltenders in Toronto. Not all of them are here to stay, that's great. Simpson signed a 2-year contract with Toronto at $4.25 million. Ranger signed a 2-year contract with Toronto at $2.5 million. And Duane signed a 3-year contract with Toronto. Originally, I saw $1.85 million cap hit. Freeman's updated that to $2.6. So $2.6 million cap hit for Duane. Toronto has $1.33 million in cap space left. So there you go. Toronto's plan for this offseason was to add all the teams that we need to. This is why when people are like, well, should they get a Moretzky? They could if they need to have a bunch of cap space for that, and they do not happen. I would agree with John on this. John was that Toronto could have waited a bit. They could have shown a little patience in terms of keeping up the bottom 6. They took out other players for less money, but here we are. They signed these guys for a lot of money, and we'll see if that helps fix things in this fall. Utah, no moves from Utah as of yet. So things are quiet. I'll go ahead and look at notifications from my phone and see if there's anything we need to talk about. Nothing yet. Utah don't have to. Good thing I checked this one they did. Utah signed Stanley. So Stanley signed 1 year, $2.75 million contract for Stanley. So we'll see how that goes. Nurse is going to San Jose. So 5 pictures of that trade not seen yet. I will do a video on that trade when it takes place. And there's a third set to Washington. So we'll talk about Washington in a second here. First we'll get to Vancouver. Paul Potter, 1-year contract with Vancouver, $2.15 million. I've been very vocal in the squad. Dan Potter, 3 years. Signed for Vancouver. Luke Sanders went to Vancouver on a 1-year deal of $2.25 million. Rasmus Anderson just signed with Vegas despite the lackluster playoffs. They bring it back. 7 years, $8.5 million cap hit for Anderson. Vegas is a negative in terms of cap space. Last $21 million above the cap. Remember, Petrangelo's cap hit goes off the books as he is on LTIR for next year. He's not going to play. He's already done. But this is in Washington, 1 year, he's minimum, $350,000. Paul signs there 1 year, $900,000. And Dayton, 4 years, $4.2 million. Washington's tweeted this out too. They've confirmed it's a $4.2 million cap hit for Dayton. Of all the extracting contracts that we've seen on this year, that's not extracted. They did it. The Capitals was $9.23 million. Signed with Washington. Stuart Skinner has signed with Winnipeg, 2-year contract with Skinner. $3.75 million cap hit, and he welcomes the challenge of the pressure that he will get playing for the Jets. So there you go. That's all done for now. Obviously, this is still in motion. There's going to be more to talk about. I will be doing more news videos and trade videos later on. It's still Wednesday. It is July 1st. And so as Canada Day rolls along, I will go ahead and discuss 3 trades and some signings that have taken place. Since the last time I spoke to you, I'm sure there will be more between now and the end of the day, and I'll do it for you as well. Nick Paul is headed to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Played 51 games for Tampa this past season, had 7 goals, 8 assists, 15 points. Brought up 6 forward, played on the third line, and just a good addition for Toronto. It is a signal because going the other way is Dennis Helmke, the young goaltender that we believe was going to be part of the rotation. This may very well mean that Johansson's on his way over to Tampa again, because Helmke does require waivers to be sent down. Also going to Tampa, a 2027 fourth-round draft pick and a 2028 third-round draft pick. So, interesting trade. You guys still stick with that one. I kind of like Tampa what they get here. I do like to get a young goaltender and to get a couple of picks for guys Nick Paul. This big name just figured was on his way out. I know the still the cap situation for Toronto Rangers, but I know Nick Paul's contract is not cheap, so good thing. Then we get to the Utah trade. They have won the Vinny Trocheck sweepstakes. Yes, Vince Trocheck finally been traded. Last season, the 32-year-old played 67 games, had 16 goals, 37 assists, 53 points for the Rangers. He has some leadership ability. He has some two-way game as well. I really like this addition for Utah. I think they did a little enough for his jersey. Going to the Rangers, Sean Durfee, 27-year-old defenseman, 60 games, 5 goals, 22 assists, 27 points. Also, the 24 picks from Utah, Cole Boatman, played 54 games in the Oilers up in past season with 33 goals, 55 assists, 88 points. But always beware when somebody is 20 years of age and putting up big points in the entire hockey league. As an overrater, you don't overreact to that. Also going to the Rangers, a third-round draft pick. So, yeah, I like this trade for Utah. The Rangers, I'm kind of surprised they didn't get more for Trocheck, considering how long he's been out there and how many teams were reportedly interested in his services. And the reason I'm wearing an Oilers jersey is Darnell Nurse's contract has been traded. No funds retained by the Oilers, so he's been traded to the San Jose Sharks. He's 31 years of age, played 82 games this past season. 7 goals, 17 assists, 24 points for the Oilers, but we know that Nurse wasn't going to work in Edmonton, so he goes to San Jose, gets a fresh start. Going to the Oilers, Shakir Mahapadula, name that I love, 50 games, 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points for the Defenders this past season in San Jose. Also, defenseman Zach Sharp, who was number 124 pick in 2025 for this last year. Played 37 games for Western Michigan University, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points for the third. We'll see whether or not he ends up in Edmonton jersey sooner or later. But I think just the fact they were able to trade Darnell Nurse's contract and not retain anything, minor miracle performed by the Minnesota. I give them credit where credit is due. And in this case, I think they definitely do. We'll see what San Jose's blue line is going to look like. But they added Nurse today. They added Truba. There's definitely beating up. of the San Jose Blue Line today. The Minnesota Wild hold on to two players who had technically hit the market. Zach Bogosian signs a one-year extension, $1.25 million. There's also a bonus of $100,000 that kicks in when he reaches 60 games played. So he may not be happy if he's a healthy stretch in any point this season. Nick Foligno signs a one-year extension as well with Minnesota, so the Foligno brothers staying together. $900,000 is the price for Nick Foligno to stay with the Minnesota Wild. I think that contract's perfectly fine. Good stay by Minnesota so far this offseason. Blue Jenner has joined the Washington Capitals. It is a 4-year deal. They're capped at $5.75 million. Jenner coming off of a bit of a down year with Columbus, had some injuries on up. Change the scenery, kick off his other one. Jenner is still, I think, a good third-line option. And so he's going to the Washington Capitals. That is something a lot of the cap space was living. The last time I talked to you guys about Washington, I'm sure over the next couple of days we'll have to bring back the other board and talk about what we have left in terms of cap space. Ryan Shea has signed a contract with the Edmonton Oilers. It's a 5-year deal, signed the cap at $4 million. I will say this, I like Shea's contract at $4 million better than the day I made $4.3 million contract as our earlier today. I think Shea can be useful for the Oilers. This means that trading owners with contracts allows them to sign Shea without a big bonus. McEwen has signed a deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a 2-year deal, carrying the cap at $875,000 at the NHL level. And so we'll see how many games McEwen plays at the NHL level for Toronto, a team which is clearly quickly revamping their bottom six today. Josh Baker seems to have a plan that can help things work. Shafee leaves Tampa. He signs a contract with the New York Islanders, 1 year at $850,000. Shafee is the minimum. I think that's a good sign by the New York Islanders. We'll see what minutes plays that gets him fourth line. Maybe he ends up in the NHL as well. Douglas has left the Canucks. Yes, Curtis Douglas, who they picked up, and they seem to be high on him, so maybe they can win that and not quite so much. Signs in Seattle. It is a 2-year deal for Douglas, $1.25 million is the cap hit. He's a very big player. There's some intriguing upside potentially there, but clearly Seattle's the team that's going to take that chance on whether or not he sees that. There you go. So I do expect to be in front of the board again before the day is done.
You never know what's in illegal drugs. You can't see, smell, or taste powerful opioids. Even a small amount of drugs.
Interesting. Interesting name for my team. He's tall. He can play top line minutes.
Stop it on the field. You're invisible from the cap. Lock in, 30% off first. The 6 is off. It's on. Order it. To the lock. Welcome back. This should be my final video. It should be. I say that because I've said it before where it's my final video and then I get dragged back in here by a trade and sign and something happens. So there's always a big chance that I could be back in here, but I think this will probably be my final video today. Starting off the top of the board, news that broke while I was filming my last video, which is Freddie Anderson signing a contract in Atlanta for the full season, so it makes sense to have that performance bonus in there. And for Carolina, of course, bit of a bittersweet moment here, I think, for Kings fans to get their Stanley Cup. They still got Bussy and Kachetkov, but probably still sad to see Freddie Anderson leaving. Max Jones went to market, but still ended up back with the Oilers. 1 year, $850,000 contract. That is, of course, the minimum. Max Jones, depth player, of course, at this point in his career. Speaking of depth players, the Dallas Stars brought back depth players that Dallas fans are really well acquainted with. Yoel Kiviranta is back. So maybe next playoffs, when they need a big goal in overtime or a big game, maybe Kiviranta will be able to provide that as he has in the past. And the goal for the organization, Jim Nill repeated again today. The goal for Dallas is to re-sign Jason Robinson. And it sounds like trade talks are quieting down at this point. And it was talking about how, they've got all summer to figure this out. They don't have to make a move on July the 1st, which is true. Absolutely true. I think there are some general managers today that made
Oh, sure, you accepted that right away. That's good. Fuck yes.
I don't know. We'll see how those contract dates, but I agree with taking a balanced approach and the idea, going with the idea that you don't have to do everything on July 1st. You can take a little bit of time and go over it. So if they're going to trade or sign Robertson, whatever's going to happen, I prefer it was done with the amount of due diligence necessary. The Dallas Stars view themselves as contenders. If they cannot handle Robertson correctly, that status will change this coming season. Lily Nolan has signed a one-year contract with Vegas at league minimum, amongst others. And basically, Vegas one of those teams going in and getting a whole bunch of depth today, a lot of two-way contracts being signed. Also, Kelly McCrimmon confirming that Alex Petrangelo situation has not changed. He is on long-term injury reserve, will stay on long-term injury reserve. He is not going to play this upcoming season either. He also praised Petrangelo for doing a lot of coaching work for the community, including from a hockey perspective, and talked a lot about what a great hockey person Alex Petrangelo is. Made it clear that his playing career at this point in time is over. He also confirmed that at this point, Carter Hart, Aiden Helms, that will be the tandem for Vegas come this fall. Says that that's how that works, that he believes they'll have a bounce back year, Hart played in the playoffs, so there's no reason to make any changes at this point. And if here's a Lindbaum that's the number 3 in the organization. So Vegas happy with their goaltending. It doesn't look like there's going to be any changes there during the rest of this offseason. Florida added a lot of depth today. A lot of depth, a lot of players on two-way contracts that are likely going to start the season at the American Hockey League level. Johnny Beecher, though, added to the team on a one-year two-way contract. Beecher's production fell off this past season, so Florida jumps in against the player. I think that Beecher could fit in well with Florida's game. That's a really smart pickup for them. But yeah, they added a bunch of players today that are very unlikely to play the whole season for the Florida Panthers, but they'll be able to help them at the NHL level and then get called up to the Panthers when needed when injuries do string. And Bill Nino sounds excited about what he put together and waiting for the season to get rolling. That's what you want to hear from your general manager in the offseason. Joe Valeno has signed a contract with the New York Rangers. It is 1 year for $1.2 million. $200,000 of that is a signing bonus. So Valeno's not on the market very long himself. Valeno, I think, good fourth line player. I've seen some Rangers fans, though, that are not happy with how this offseason is going. I'm once again seeing Rangers fans wanting Chris Drury to be gone. But yeah, we'll see how things go this fall. If the team gets off to a good start, Drury sticks around. If they get off to a really bad start, we'll see. Luke Shen. This is one of those oddities that they throw the stats up and it's like, oh, okay. Luke Shen is the second player to join the Canucks organization for a third time. It's rare that happens, and the only one to do it, Nolan Baumgartner. And when they mentioned that, I was like, great, because Baumgartner had that career year in Vancouver, signed a pricey deal with Philadelphia for getting that career year. Could not replicate it on any level in Philadelphia, and ends up back in Vancouver. He did spend a lot of that time on the NHL. Luke Shen spending more time at the NHL level than Nolan Baumgartner did during any of his 3 times that he was met with Vancouver. So I do remember Baumgartner being good depth defenseman, part of the Luke Shen the same thing. And even though he's talking about, wanting to be part of the rebuild of Vancouver, I could see Luke Shen being one of those guys that ends up behind a bench when his playing career is done. I do think with what he's gone through, the amount of time he spent in the NHL, he could be a very good coach. A lot of anecdotes you probably tell young players from his career. I think the stories that you hear from the depth guys, the backup goaltenders, from players who maybe bounced around a bit, are more entertaining than the ones from the superstar players. I think I feel like the ego's a little bit less. I feel like the self-deprecation is a little bit higher, and they view it a little different than those superstar players who are just on that first line and maybe they just play for one team their whole career. So I do think that there's a better perspective granted for these players who've bounced around a little bit and played for a very long time as good as that. So day 1 is done. At least. It's best, but it is just about spreading right along the section. knock on wood. I think.
Guess who found the time to take a little nap and needs to talk about the Vancouver Canucks because, man, oh man, Ryan Johnson keeps on adding, and this is a pretty big addition. Literally. The Vancouver Canucks have signed Jamie Oleksiak to a 2-year contract worth $5 million a year. Jamie Oleksiak is a big boy. He is 6'7", 251 pounds, a left-handed D. And unlike the other 6'7" Canucks defensemen from last year, Vinny Desharnais, Jamie Oleksiak is actually a pretty good player, and maybe even is worth the $5 million versus Desharnais, who got $4 million earlier this morning. Jamie Oleksiak is a guy that was moved to Vancouver 3 hours ago, and he will be coming over to the team to add another piece of that blue line. He is a physical presence, a shot-blocking guy, a defensive suffocation D-man. At 33 years old, Jamie Oleksiak has a pretty good NHL career that he has carved out for himself. He's been a consistent guy throughout the course of the past decade, essentially, after breaking out from the AHL and being an NHL name full-time. He had 25 points in 75 games played as a career high in 2022-2023, the last time the Seattle Kraken were actually good. A season where Oleksiak was playing alongside of, I believe, Carson Soucy was over there, and Adam Larson was his defense partner, if I recall correctly. And the only reason I know that is because I actually did have Oleksiak and Larson on my team in fantasy that year. It was the Hot Take Hockey League with other hockey YouTubers and, of course, John from Hot Take Hockey. And I remember that specific season, there was a really big emphasis on blocked shots. Like, blocked shots were worth as much as one assist. So Adam Larson was one of the best players in the league, and Jamie Oleksiak, despite only having 25 points, was one of the best players too. So I remember that year very, very well. Oleksiak always had a positive impression in my mind because of it. This previous season, he had 15 points in 78 games played, a number of blocks and a number of hits. Of course, he's got a big frame, and he's going to be able to use it. Oleksiak, Shen, Elias Pettersson, Zubia, Philip Hronik, Tom Willander, that's a pretty good decoy when you talk about building for the future and surrounding the younger guys of the behemoth of a human being. 6'7", baby. Canucks fans are happy. They finally have a smart GM. Dang, I want Kirill Kubiradze to take that spot. You know what? That's fair. That is totally fair to think that this signing could potentially hold back the presence of a Kubiradze on the blue line. The Luke Shen signing could potentially hold back Victor Mancini from making the lineup full-time. But then again, right, you can't just have one veteran guy and all 5 of the other defensemen are all rookies. That is not really a sustainable plan, even if you plan to lose every single game. You want to be able to form good habits out of these young guys. You want these guys to be able to develop just proper mindset and mentality. And having veteran guys in the lineup, like Shen, like Oleksiak, like Hronik, and having a rotating cast of younger defensemen on the other 3, that's going to allow the Vancouver Canucks to instill the proper beats into those young players and their hockey developing brains. He basically takes Marcus Pettersson's spot, but a shorter contract, $500,000 less, and the Canucks get a first-round pick. It's true, $5 million might be a little rich, but hey, the short term really makes it stomachable. And when you think about the fact that Vancouver wants to be bad anyway, Marcus Petey for Jamie Oleksiak and a first-round pick and saving some money, I'd say that works out very well in Vancouver's favor. Satu Shaw said the Canucks moved Marcus Pettersson who had 5 years left in his deal, which made room to sign Oleksiak. Now they could flip Oleksiak in a year for another return. There wasn't room for Vancouver to have both MP29 and Oleksiak while developing their young left-handed D. and they now gain a further asset. Pretty great move, eh? Oh, they gained a further asset with Marcus Pettersson. They can gain another asset with Jamie Alexiak. They could trade away Paul Cotter. They could trade away Luke Schenn. They could trade away Alexiak. Short-term deals, 1 year, 2 years, doesn't matter. Come on to Vancouver, bolster up your trade value, and they'll kick you out and they'll send you to a playoff team and get all their draft picks. That sounds like a great idea. Man, Ryan Johnson is nailing it in his first season as Vancouver Canucks general manager. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Jamie Alexiak signing by Vancouver? I hope you enjoyed this Fish Show Scenery 9. And bye.
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mouth will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll pick the ox, a merchant's best friend. It can carry anything you throw.
It was as Elliot Friedman reported. The Vancouver Canucks have traded away Marcus Pettersson. Just when you thought that there was a break in the action on free agency day, a break from the news and a break from the trades and a break for you to take a rest because you've only got 2 hours of sleep and you've been spending the past few hours making videos and videos and videos and you thought you would actually have some breathing room. The Vancouver Canucks make a trade. Marcus Pettersson is going over to the New York Rangers for a 2030 first-round pick that is top 10 protected. Sarah Bailey has the trade. Trade. 1 year ago, February 1st, 2025, the Vancouver Canucks acquired Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor in exchange for the New York Rangers first in 2025, which became Jack Nesbitt. Vinny Desharnais, who, as we talked about earlier in today's show, got $4 million by 4 years, Danton Heinen, and Melvin Fernstrom. Now, on July 1st, 2026, Marcus Petey is heading over to New York for a 2030 top 10 protected first-round pick. Marcus Pettersson played for Mike Sullivan for parts of 7 seasons. Now, here's the thing about Marcus Pettersson. We have spoken about him in the context of him getting traded earlier in today's programming. Elliot Friedman's reports from yesterday on Oilers Now, CHED Shed, Edmonton Sports Talk Radio, talked about Marcus Pettersson as a potential trade option. And that's exactly what we saw here today. 30 years old, 6'5", 174, a left-handed D-man, and a guy who's making $5.5 million a year to the end of 2031. With Vinny Desharnais, of all people, getting $4 million a year for 4 years, Marcus Pettersson at 5.5 is a lot better than that. He's a fine defenseman. When he's at his best, he is able to suffocate the play, shut things down, produce some points once in a while, and overall just be a solid guy. A middle pair guy on a really okay team, a bottom pair guy on a fantastic team. And Marcus Pettersson, even with the decline in point production, still was able to find a way to get the Canucks some value. He had 29 total points in 78 games last year between the Penguins and the Canucks. This year he had 18 points in 18 games, so a decline there, but then again, he's not getting any power play time. He's not getting any special teams opportunity other than penalty killing opportunities. And he's playing on the worst team in the league in Vancouver. So getting a first-round pick in itself is awesome. Sure, the Canucks will have to wait 4 years to use it, and it is top 10 protected, so if the Rangers are due by the time 2029, 2030 comes around and this pick is in the top 10, we're assuming it's going to slide to 2031. But at the end of the day, Brian Johnson is building his team for the future. You can't sprint. It's got to be a marathon. The only way to go fast is to go slow. And this is really going slow by trading away a roster piece for a 2030 first-round pick. I like it. It aligns with the philosophy, the fact that Vancouver got Luke Shen earlier this morning, and the fact that they have a nice young team.
And love on this cookie.
Okay. More to discuss in terms of signings and trades, and we're going to go ahead and talk about somebody who's not being traded today. Zach Werenski. So a lot of discussion around Werenski over the last week, and a lot of upheaval. Columbus fans not happy with the idea that the Norris Trophy winner would want out. And Werenski and Liddell see joint statements today for Columbus to social media stating that basically Columbus wants to keep Werenski. They don't want to trade him. And Werenski, after talking to the team and clearing things up, which is what they were supposed to be doing before all this disaster was about, and Werenski even said it's a shame that it came out publicly, but that's how things are now. Okay. But he is now off the trade line. He wants to win in Columbus, he wants to stay in Columbus. He spent 10 years in Columbus and wants to see this through. Good. Great news for Columbus Blue Jackets players, fans, management, and everything else. Werenski being off the trade block is it's good news. I know it's not great news if you're a Toronto or Tampa fan that's trying to figure out what kind of package you'd offer up in order to get Werenski out of Columbus, but all those trades were just out the window. Werenski is staying in Columbus, which, like I said, is huge for this team. This franchise has to build itself up to become a contender. They have to stop losing veteran players when they decide they want to win to go elsewhere. That has to stop for Columbus now. So going back to the top of the board, normally how these things work, but of course we start here at the bottom. Anders Lee, the reason I'm wearing a Utah jersey, he has signed a 3-year deal with Utah Mammoth. There's a cap hit of $5.4 million. I like what Utah's done. They've added Trocheck, they've added Lee. This was a team that Eric kind of felt like was pretty good as it was, but they're clearly not done. Trocheck's excellent on the faceoffs. Lee's got some leadership, supporting the thing for the LA Kings. Signed a 1-year, $1 million deal. We'll see how many games he plays at the Kings and then he plays at the Rangers and the AHL. Vinny Davis Jones joined the Colorado Avalanche. He signed a 2-year deal with Colorado. Carries a cap hit of $875,000. He is one of my favorites. He is, at this point in time, his career fourth liner. Not a ton of opportunities and goals for him, but Hinostroza is still a player I like a lot. I feel like he gives an honest effort every time out. Speaking of honest efforts, you have Sammy Blais signing today with the Ottawa Senators. A 2-year contract carries a $925,000 cap hit. Blais, popular player with fans wherever he plays. There's a lot of passion in his game, and the style of hockey he plays is just naturally going to be popular with fans. But Blais signing with Ottawa, we'll see how many games he plays for Ottawa, and maybe how many games he plays in Belleville. Tomasino has also joined the Ottawa Senators. He gets a 1-year contract, carries a cap hit of $9,000. Very reasonable for Tomasino. He gets a chance in the first start with Ottawa. We'll see how things go there. Lauren Brossois has added to the goaltending depth in Anaheim because they're going to have those Valdez Russo. We'll see whether or not Brossois gets into the mix for the backup job. He signed a one-year deal at $1.1 million. He's not had a fantastic season this past year, but played most of the season in the AHL, and we'll see whether or not he can get off to a good start this season with the Anaheim Ducks. So we have two more trades to discuss as I'm recording this. I would expect that I'll probably be doing another video before today's done and talk about other trades and signings. But Will Morgan is now a member of the Boston Bruins, going to the New York Rangers in this trade. 2027 second round draft pick and a 2028 third. So Boston has the blue liner of Will Morgan, and New York did this because they also acquired Marcus Patterson from Vancouver Canucks. So he goes to the New York Rangers with the full cap of the $5.5 billion, so that gives the Canucks almost $6 billion in cap savings. 2030 first round draft pick goes to Vancouver. Rangers top 10 projected. I've seen some Canucks fans not happy with the return. I understand the first round pick being 4 years out, not top 10 projected. But Marcus Patterson's contract, I've never been a huge fan of. And while I'm sure we'll miss Patterson as a top 4 defenseman, the Canucks this upcoming year, not likely to have a great season, and now they've got themselves a little more in the way of cap space. There's some movements that needs to be done here by Vancouver. I don't think they're done. I think this is the kind of move you make before you.
CNFPK, the farther two of us, is actually a bus. Live music and also along with Boston Pizza.
Yes, one more year left on that contract. I decided to trade it next season. I think that's why I found doing it's in Larson's contract.
I make introductions. I make copyrights. I make it to a laundry message, basics, illness, charts. Yeah. In this video, I put together 50 of the most broken styles of threats that I've ever shared. Ranging from God's your builds to overpowered weapons, in other words, simply ridiculous tricks that just flat out break the game. Let's kick off with those broken builds, and what's this more powerful than turning yourself into an unstoppable 10,000 element of damage with the unlimited magic of them. Basically, with the one gear center, you can make any sort of magic from 50 pounds. Though each goes requires quite a bit of investment.
My detour is actually set. Let me just check it works. So Marchenko Beniers will play top line. Tolman will probably play top line as well. Or maybe Cannon actually. And the two of them to play second line with Wright and Capital. Yeah, Cannon needs to get some games. Yeah, I probably need to fix up my bottom six.
But also because you can't unlock the extra effect until it's still level 100. But it's also worth saying that you can still use this trick to drastically reduce the amount of your spells prior to hitting 100 enchanting. Once you achieve 100 enchanting and unlock the correct perk, then all you need to do is craft or gather all bits of gear, a helmet, chest piece, ring, and necklace, and then enchant each of these 4 pieces with the fortified 25% effect that restores the magic once become.
Pershos will be able to use perfect bottom six player.
And of course, if you have the extra,
Spicy, I'll take that 2-year contract instead for him.
throw that gear on and you
Phil Pershos.
spells of protection for that school or physical magic. The reason this feels like cheating is because magic is still invisibly negatively.
So get to see it would be perfect with the bottom six penalty kills.
Allowing you to become an unstoppable 10x of magic damage. And at that point, there are very few enemies in the game that are going to be able to
quality and stability. Another trick that makes you feel borderline unhittable in combat is taking advantage of the stagger locking approach using dual path destruction there. Basically, that skill level forces destruction magic even unlock a perk that you think, and that perk will make the majority of your destruction spells stagger your opponent when you cast them. This can get stupidly broken if set up correctly. But then as dual cast projectiles, so firebolts, ice spikes, lightning bolts, will be guaranteed to stagger the time from here. It makes you actually unable to respond. I say if set up correctly, as the only caveat is that whether it is staggered or not is dependent on the damage dealt. So, large enemies such as
sure, why not, right? He's a bomb sits prayer too.
But you can realistically send off even
I am busy.
As you can see in the footage right now. It feels like this combo basically breaks the AI, but it's very much intended behavior, despite the fact that
Torn Wobble pay AHL. Dickerson will probably be a fourth liner.
Pairing vampirism with the necromancy burn. Basically, what you need to do is become a vampire, either by Serana or by contracting the disease from a random vampire. If you want more detail on that, I'll link a vampirism guide in the description down below. And then secondly, you need to get your restoration skill to level 70 in order to unlock the necromancy perk. Now, what this perk does is boost all spells against undead. And since vampires count as undead, and you are
Persia to pay I'll pay too, so
you will become 25% stronger.
yeah, I need a fun design right winner. Not my rookie Russian. I need to protect it from being on the bad team, no backers. Habit's perfect.
5%, and every single potion you use will have an increased potency and duration as well. As you can imagine, this gets stupidly strong once you start stacking up all of these different types of magical buffs in the game. And it probably should have been removed, but it wasn't, and it's clearly that. Another trick that feels like it shouldn't have made it to try and
Nice.
is the ability to become 100% spell, which again is just flat out busted. It's not actually that hard to do.
Okay, right after you accepted that, that's actually hang on. Yeah, I'll take that actually. I'll take that. Better girl's gone. Good. Got 2 pits for him.
30% spell approval.
Thank you, New York. You actually helped me there.
Big grand total of 100% spell absorption, which means you're now immune to magic.
Keep going. There's still four first round picks in this upcoming draft. New York 7.
Avoid the bonuses for and yeah, do that, and you have basically arranged an entire damage point of the game, and you can laugh in the face of a fire-breathing dragon. Just don't get close enough and it's a slightly good. However, spell damage isn't the only threat, so let's look at a build that will reduce the physical damage you take to almost nothing. And I'm not exaggerating here, you can achieve up to a massive 80% reduction in physical damage. The way to do this is by using the style of
trades is in the way. There's no trade clause.
All get as close to it as possible. And this is
in 2 years. Shit, okay. Yeah. That's fine, I guess. So hopefully we'll still be on the team by then. Hopefully Capo will still be on the team too. So I need to find somebody to replace Goodrow. Let me see here. What's going on with this looking like? Bird line. I will probably have Dickerson play bird line. Rear. And Kership probably. Captain handle fourth line, so I need 2 players for their fourth line. Okay, I didn't do that. Shit, I didn't mean to do it.
After all, it's not about using 80% full cost, it's about taking as close as possible without having to...
Oh shit, there we go. Johnny D's available. Okay, he's my fourth line center.
If you're tired of constantly switching glasses, you have to try this.
Throw away your outdated reading glasses and expensive progressive lenses. One pair is all you need.
clever way to achieve this level of functional invincibility is to utilize the unstoppable regeneration. This involves picking up a whole bunch of health regeneration equipment, restoration spells, life-stealing weapons, and other buffs, which all add up to make it borderline impossible for enemies to do enough damage to activate this combination of heal over time effect. Step 1 is the activated Blade Stone, which can be found on a small island to the west of Britain, and it offers a blessing that increases your health and stamina regeneration by 25%. You'll then go to want to top that blessing up with fortified wounds limited pricing. A sortable turbo charger passive. Personally, I like the empty blade option as provided you swinging it, it's incredibly hard to do. And then, of course, you can supercharge this further with the next
top line.
That's going to boost the regeneration blessing from the blade stone, as well as the healing effect of the ebony blade. Then, if that's all enough to rely on, you can also pick up the Argonian Grace, so you have access to consistency power that will rapidly regain your health once per day, and then throw in some active healing spells and potions, all of which will, of course, benefit from the necromantic vampire boost that we just discussed. And if you really want to kick the arse out of it, you can even activate the avoid death perk from the restoration skill tree, just in case an enemy hits you so hard that your gross regeneration rate can't save you. As what this perk does is it pops you back up to full health once per day if you drop below 10% fire. And yeah, good luck to any enemy trying to take you out with all that in mind. But of course, these builds still require you to do big years of work yourself, when instead you could simply outsource it. And who better to outsource death and destruction to than the trusty Draymora, who quite frankly can't get enough of it. They love it. And while most players are no better way to suddenly a single Draymora, well, what do you do when it's a two-man job? Get your own hands dirty again? You see the problem. Well, the good news is, with the right setup, you can actually have two of them fighting at once. This requires you to bring so much time, which in turn requires one extra configuration skill, which of course does make it but once you have this
Spencer rotates second variant of person.
and both will
Why is this scene down in age? I want him playing up here.
Draymore and Lord doesn't scale that well into the late game, but two of them to make even the hardest encounters feel like a word. You can leave your trusty Draymore to charge for your enemies, take all the damage, whilst you sit in minions and occasionally throw in a spell or two because you're generous. The spell turn of the conscious Draymore and Lord can be taught from Phineas Gaster at the college of Winter. Then from there, it is a bit of grind to get the Twin Souls perk, unless you're going to use one of the naughtier leveling techniques from my other videos. But once you get there, you can rest on your laurels and let your demonic sidekicks do whatever you want. Oh, and if you pick up these Sanguine Rogues as well, through Sanguine's David's quest, you can even add a third Draymoric next to become even more overpowered. But why settle for two servants when you can have your own army? Now, this one is getting to the realms of ridiculousness, and it's not something to break the entire build around. It's taken out to use once per day, or twice actually if you have the Ethereal Crown, but it's absurdly fun and powerful when you do unleash it. Now, normally, necromancy is pretty limited in strength. You can raise one or even two forces at a time with your Twin Souls perk that you just discussed from the Conjuration tree. However, with a few clever tricks, you can turn that into a whole legion of undead followers, marching and use that overwhelming force to win pretty much any fight again. Here's how. First, you need to max out your Conjuration skill and grab your Twin Souls perk, done on previous tip. Then you need to go and find Ritual Stone Blessing, which you can get to the north one front. This standing stone that lets you reanimate every corpse in the area for 200 seconds, with no limit on how many. You can then combine that with your Twin Daedra, a normal follower, an animal follower, and a druid following corpses, and effectively become the Lich King of Skyrim, standing at the head of an undead army commanded by your two trusty Draymores and Lords. So when that one happens, as I said, the downside of this is that you can only do it once per day by default, but you can also store a second ritual blessing using the Ethereal Crown in order to give yourself a second day use. Then on top of that, if you want to look into it, there are various techniques you can potentially use to increase the duration of the spell so that your army can serve incredibly longer.
With over 25 years of experience and over 2 million procedures performed, basically you truly have the expertise to make sure that
Helping someone regain that confidence and freedom, well, this is why I love relationships.
Hand signals are a crucial part of our game. So as your official hot dog manager, I'm happy to do it. When things heat up, I'll be calling for perfectly spoken, maybe made, Schneider's hot dog. Your signal to win the song. Schneider, call us for Schneider.
Before we move on, it's also worth throwing out a couple of key programs. But as whilst they're not trick per se, they're really powerful and they're often in this fun play. And they massively complement towards the demonstration. And because that, basically, by default, you can only get one standing stone. But, however, there is an item in the game that will open that too. This is called the Ethereum Crank. Now, to get a hold of it, you're going to need to completely lost the ages crank. As part of the Dream Guide TLC, I'd suggest looking at the guide, as there's actually 3 possible rewards, and there's too much detail to go into right now. However, once you've completed the quest and received the Ethereal Crank with your reward, then all you need to do is equip it, activate that for any standing stone, then while the crank is still equipped, activate a second buff with a different standing stone, and the crank will automatically retain the first buff, resulting in you benefiting from first. It opens up a whole world of opportunities for different cities and different playstyles, and combined with the next major fan playing trip, you can see how you start to get into the realm of becoming pretty unstoppable. Moving on to what might be one of the biggest no-brainers to grab early on for any character build, but that an enormous number of people significantly underwear. Any guesses? Well, if you guessed that I'm talking about Agent of Mara Blessing, then you guessed right. This is a powerful permanent buff that gives you 15% magic resistance. And you can sneak around and turn that on. To do this, head to Riften, go to the Temple of Mara, and complete a very simple quest. It really is as simple as that. And as a result, you get a blessing that gives you a significant boost to your survivability, which is even more relevant for higher difficulty settings. Which, like I said, makes it an absolute no-brainer to grab right away for pretty much any character. Of course, there's no point in having a growth build if you don't have the ludicrously overpowered weapons to go with it. So let's take a look at some of Skyrim's most broken weapons next. And the first of these broken weapons earns its status on the basis that you can get hold of it way earlier in the game than was probably intended, causing you to be insanely overpowered from as early as you want. Not only does it have a crazy high base damage for a weapon that you can get at level 1, but it also brings stamina, magicka, and even the very soul of your enemy when you defeat them. Yep, Mace of Molag Bal is one of the very few weapons in the game with 3 different enchantments, draining 25 points of both magicka and stamina, as well as applying soul trap to the target with every swing. This makes it an absolute early to mid-game powerhouse, and easily the best melee weapon that you can pick up pretty much immediately after leaving